In light of what's been happening to the Italian national team, it's very easy to forget that Italian football was once ahead of all of Europe's top 5 leagues. It was the league producing the best players, the league that attracted some of the greatest talents of their respective generations. Paolo Maldini, Zinedine Zidane, Francesco Totti, Andrea Pirlo, Alessandro Del Piero, Ronaldo Nazario, Ronaldinho, even the late great Diego Maradona all played some of their greatest years in Italy. It's crazy to think that a nation with such culture and star-studded history has fallen so far off that it can barely compete with its counterparts. I just made a video on this very phenomenon about how the Italian football, the Italian idea of football is dying. Go check that video out. But back to this one, even in the darkest period of Italian football, they have produced some talented players, and perhaps the one that spearheads this generation is Alessandro Bastoni. Atalanta are one of the most historic clubs in Italy, and over the years they have produced some of Italy's greatest exports. Davide Zappacosta, Giorgio Scalvini, Dejan Kulusevski, even though he is an Italian, and of course the cream of the crop in my opinion, Alessandro Bastoni, all came through the Atalanta Academy. Bastoni joined the Atalanta Academy age 7, passed through the ranks before eventually making his debut in a Coppa Italia tie against Pescara in 2016, completing his first full 90 minutes. His talent was too obvious for the Italian elites to ignore, and it was Inter who signed him from Bergamo for 31 million euros and loaned him back to Atalanta for the next 2 seasons before eventually calling the loan off early and giving him a 5-year contract in 2018. He then went on to become a mainstay in both the Italian national team and Inter's first team. Bastoni started off his career as a left back but then quickly settled at left center back. His ability on the ball is ridiculous. His passing, his ball control, and over the last few years, his ball carrying has been a huge asset for Inter. He is calm under pressure, dominant in his duels. He is trained under some of the best Italian tacticians in the modern game in Simone Inzaghi and Antonio Conte. His resume for his age is ridiculous. He has won Scudetti, he has won Coppa Italia titles, and made 2 Champions League finals. In these years of glory, Inter deployed Bastoni at left center back in a back 3, but to shoehorn a player of his ability into a rigid center back role would have been sacrilege. When Bastoni became a bona fide first-teamer under Inzaghi, he was given the freedom to roam the entire left side of the pitch. He would step up into midfield, becoming a pseudo number 6, number 8, and surprisingly he would even find himself in and around the opposition box. He and Federico Di Marco on the left side was a cheat code for Inter over the years, especially in the Serie A. Di Marco was holding the width, spacing out the pitch for Bastoni to move the ball up the pitch. One of my favorite profiles of players in football is exactly what Bastoni is: a ball-playing center back, a tempo controller from defense. Similar to Bastoni, I quite like Nico Schlotterbeck, Gonzalo Inacio, who I have a video on from a couple of years back, go check that out, Lisandro Martinez, and even Marco Senesi of Bournemouth. All incredible ball-playing defenders. But back to Bastoni, he'd been heavily linked to Man City before in the past after the Champions League final victory over Inter, and most recently he is linked to Barcelona. Now, this is interesting because it raises 2 questions. Will he fit tactically into Hansi Flick's system given that he has played in a back 3 virtually his whole career? The second question is, will he adapt to the intensity of the La Liga after playing in the much slower tempo of Italian football? The answer to both is yes. He has played in a back 4 for the Italian national team and in some games under Christian Chivu for Inter. He is best suited to a back 3 of course, playing on the left side, but I have no doubt that he will slot right into Hansi Flick's fluid team and fluid football. Barcelona have had some major defensive frailties under Hansi Flick, at times looking like 2 different teams in the attack and defense. They look elite in the attack, and they look like schoolboys in the defense. It's insane. But Bastoni playing next to Pau Cubarsí would be not only an insanely technical backline, but with the leadership qualities that Bastoni has, he can help Cubarsí and the likes of Gerard Martin develop into very good defenders. Now, the more important question is, will Bastoni adapt well to the nature of Spanish football? I made a video on the dramatic demise of Italian football, and if you watch that video, you will see just exactly what I think of Italian football. It's very slow, it's not tactically advanced, it's very rigid. They're stuck in the tactics of the 90s and the 2000s, while other leagues have adapted. Other leagues have left them behind, and for that reason, Italian players usually would have a very hard time adapting. But there have been exceptions to this. For instance, Sandro Tonali went into the insane intensity of the Premier League and the intense playstyle of Newcastle, and he has adapted very well. Riccardo Calafiori is a player I quite like. He's challenging for the biggest trophies with Arsenal. And for that reason, I think there are outliers in this Italian system of football. There are players that can adapt to different systems and different leagues because they have the quality. And to answer my previous question, I do believe that Alessandro Bastoni will fit very well to the nature of Spanish football. He is immensely gifted on the ball with both both his passing and his carrying, and he is also very good out of possession. And training under a mind like Hansi Flick would be very good for his development. I think he will be very good for Barcelona. To talk about his out-of-possession performances, I always look back to his performance against Lamine Yamal in last season's Champions League semi-final. While Yamal was flaming him, getting the best of him at times, Bastoni still stood his ground against one of, if not the best winger in the world at the time. Now they are potentially going to be teammates. Just imagine those diagonal balls from Bastoni at left center back to Yamal on the right wing, starting the attacks. I quite like this transfer for Barcelona. I think it would be a great move for both parties involved, but there is a big problem for Barcelona, and that is the financial aspect of this.
In terms of money, we have no money.
They're not exactly a team that can dish out upwards of 80 million for one of the best center-backs in Europe. For this reason, obviously, they had been linked with Marco Senesi as well, who was a free agent come the summer. But their first choice is Bastoni for obvious reasons. Bastoni is the superior player, Bastoni is younger, he has higher upside. Imagine Hansi Flick leading the helm, Bastoni and Kubarsi at the back, Pedri pulling the strings in the midfield, Lamine Yamal and Rafinha in the attack, maybe a couple of center forward signings, Dusan Vlahovic, I'm looking at you. This will be a very scary team to play against. They're already among the best in Europe, and I think with the signing of Bastoni to shore up their, at times, schoolboy defense, they will solidify their place among the European elite. They have been dominant in La Liga in the years since Messi's departure. They have won La Liga titles, they have won Copa del Rey titles, but perhaps the signing of Bastoni will be the one that wins them that elusive Champions League title, one they haven't won since the days of the MSN trio. I will most definitely be following their progress should this move happen. I don't think a player of his quality should be playing in the Italian league, and I think these high quality players, these players of insane upside, should be playing for the best teams in the world. So again, it will be interesting to see how this move develops. Of course, I am recording this after the Italian national team crashed out embarrassingly out of World Cup qualifying. They're going to miss their third World Cup in a row. And Alessandro Bastoni was the reason, you would say, that kind of kickstarted everything. He got sent off pretty early in the game for a stupid challenge, and then everything just unraveled for the Italian national team. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Like and subscribe as always if you enjoyed this video, and I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.